Now, more than 1.7 million people have fled because of the Russian invasion. Among them, two brothers originally from Helensburgh who'd made their home in Ukraine. As the country came under attack, Stuart and Robert McKenzie headed to Poland.
They're now helping friends escape, while our reporter Louise Hosey is in Krakow tonight. Louise, huge numbers of people are seeking safety in countries bordering Ukraine.
Yes, that's right. I'm here tonight in Krakow, which is Poland's second largest city. And here we're around about 160 miles from the border, which of course is where we've seen that huge influx of refugees following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Well, among those who had to leave behind everything were two brothers, as you say, from Scotland. They're now here in Krakow, and I spoke to them earlier today. It looks like a normal family scene, but for Stuart, Robert and their families, the past 12 days have been anything but normal. The brothers had to make the heartbreaking decision to leave the country they'd called home.
The kids could hear bombs, and the youngest one, Oscar, said, "I don't want to die, I'm only 8.
We said, let's get out, and we said, right, and then we heard something, and then as we left, we heard another one.
As bombs started to fall around them, Stuart's wife knew they had to leave her homeland.
It was around 5 o'clock when we heard the sounds of the explosion, and it felt like it happening in the backyard, in our garden. And that was the moment when I realized we have to go right now.
You wake up the next morning to the shock of just thinking that you don't have a home yet. You're without, everything's just gone.
It took Stuart and his family 18 hours to cross the border from Kiev. For Robert, it would take days. Stuck in huge traffic jams in freezing conditions, Robert says the scenes he witnessed will never leave him.
As I crossed the road, I saw an old woman just lying dead, with her family around her, crying.
The brothers have now rented 2 houses in Krakow. They hope it will only be a temporary measure.
Everyone wants to go back to Kiev. It's a huge, big family community there. That's the plan, but we don't know if that's going to happen.
It's just horrifying. The streets that we know, the cafes that we knew, the buildings that we, all just there's such a beautiful, clean city, and we don't know what we'd ever go back to.
The brothers say while their experience has been traumatic, they consider themselves the lucky ones.
You feel so bad for everybody else still there, and we can't get back to normality until we at least get our friends and family members and colleagues in a safe place.
And Louise, where you are just now, there's a massive humanitarian effort. Yes, that's right. People here really are pulling together to help those most in need. Many refugees have been continuing to arrive here throughout the day. We've seen some arrive at the train station. They've been met by volunteers who've been offering hot food and drink and, crucially, some comfort. To give you some idea of the sheer scale of numbers we're seeing, the hotel that we're staying at the moment told us earlier on today that around 90% of those staying there are refugees. Well, tomorrow we'll be heading east to the border to see that huge humanitarian aid effort firsthand. All right, Louise, more from you tomorrow. Thanks very much.